Welcome, friends, to episode 107 of Revisiting Sunnydale. I'm Camila.
I'm Marcella.
Do I have the right notes open this time? Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Great. All right. So thanks for hanging in there with us. We are still trucking along in this quarantine state. And I know, hopefully by the time this airs, things will be back to normal, because I know I'm 4 episodes behind in editing and posting. So maybe things will be back, and this will be a distant memory by the time this airs. But as of right now, in Pennsylvania, we are still on lockdown, and we are still, in Allegheny, our county is getting ready to open up to yellow.
On Friday! Which I just watched a bunch of things on YouTube because I don't watch real TV. I get all my information from YouTube. And I was watching because I was thinking, okay, we're moving into the yellow, but what does that mean?
Right.
Am I allowed to see people? Am I allowed to hug people yet?
I think it's gatherings less than 25.
Yes.
Supposed to be okay.
And then what I kept saying, they keep saying on the news, they're like, gatherings of less than 25 are okay. And I'm like, okay, but what does that mean? Do I still have to say 6 feet apart from, if I can have 25 people in my backyard, do we all still have to be 6 feet apart? Do we still have to have a mask?
Yeah.
And then Channel 11, which is why I like Channel 11 more, they were like, you can be in a gathering of 25 people, but you still have to have a mask on and still maintain social distancing. So I like the way the UK is doing it better. They're slowly reopening, and they said you can be with one person outside of your household with a mask and still remain 2 meters apart.
That makes more sense to me than just cramming 25 people. It's because it still seems dangerous.
Not doing it.
No. So it's funny because I still keep hearing random people, and they're like, yeah, everything is cool on Friday. We're gonna have a gathering. You should come over. No. I bet you I don't.
Nope. I'll see you in about a year.
Right. I'm still on red in my household. So I'm just because we're still waiting to see what those other counties were doing. We didn't even wait to see what happened. Other counties opened up last Friday, and that's when they announced the next counties. It's no. Let's wait and see what happens.
Yeah. Anybody hear from those counties?
It's they've been open a smooth 12 hours, and y'all are already planning the next wave. That's not how this should be working. Everybody's we're all very anxious and antsy and wanting things to get back to normal. And I feel for businesses that are losing out right now. But I mean, damn, you can't make money if you're dead. So I don't know. Right.
And at the same time, when I am at the store and somebody comes around the corner, I'm like, get away from me.
Exactly.
I'm don't come in my aisle. This is my aisle. When I'm done.
And I haven't I've been home and to the studio. I haven't even been out into public places and spaces yet. And when I walk out of the door of my studio, I'm looking around, to see if anybody's coming down on the street. And then if they do, it's they shut the door real quick. Even though I'm wearing a mask and gloves, carrying wipes, I still don't want. So I noticed that you posed the question for this quarantine week as to what you're reading. I am in the middle of 3 different books right now. I'm trying to catch up on my year worth of old magazines.
Oh yes. I'm so guilty of getting magazine subscriptions for free, and they come and I put them on a shelf.
Right. Exactly.
I used to look at the pictures, but now I come and it goes on the shelf.
Yeah, I just read an Entertainment Weekly that was talking with the Hobbs and Shaw cast on the cover. So just to let you know, I am on my magazine radar. But yeah, that's I'm reading that and Horror Noir, which is the history of Black horror cinema, and another book about not being a guilty mom. I forget the name of it. My sister and I start a little book club.
Oh, that's so cute.
And
what is considered black horror? What is a black horror movie?
Well, it's more the history of blacks in horror.
Okay.
I would say Candyman is probably one of the first ones that come into mind, and also the Tales from the Hood.
The Blade. fit that category?
I would think it, personally, I think it does. But again, I don't know if everybody thinks of it even as a horror film.
Yeah.
I think everybody just thinks of it more as action or superhero.
Now it's a Marvel film.
Right, exactly. But yeah, it's a really interesting book. It starts off in like the 30s and stuff, and I got to meet the woman who wrote it, and she's just the sweetest, darlingest thing. Like, you just wouldn't imagine. She's a professor, I think, in Texas at Texas A&M, and I think she teaches like this is her class. Which, dude, I could only wish I would have had a class like that.
Right.
But there's also a documentary that's on Shudder right now by the same name, Horror Noir, which is really, really great, and you should check it out.
I am reading a few things as well because I can never finish anything. I get bored really quickly. And if it makes me fall asleep, then I don't really pick it up that soon.
Right.
So I'm trying to read the very last issue of the Buffy comic. Okay. I've been trying for like 6 months. I get one page in and I'm like...
That's sad.
Yeah. Because it's gone so far off the rails, like making Giles a teenager and then...
leaving him as such.
Yeah, just leaving him that way. And then they made him old again. And okay. And then I'm reading Stephen King's The Institute.
Is that one of the newer ones?
It is one of the newer ones.
Because I was kind of intrigued by that.
Yeah. It's supposed to be, I think, about kids with powers, but I got so freaked out because there's a character in it whose name is Marcella.
Oh, really?
Yeah, except they call her Marcy, and I was like, don't you dare. That's not going to be a thing. Stop telling people that's a nickname. Right, yeah, that's not a nickname for... Stop it. And then I've also been, for about a year, trying to read Bella Thorne's book of poems.
Is Bella Thorne some actress?
Yeah. Actress, singer, dance person, all around.
Like Disney I saw
star turned.
Okay. Because I saw her show up on The Masked Singer. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
And I was like, who the fuck is this?
She's been in a couple horror movies.
But there were like 4 people on there that I had no clue who they were.
Yeah.
Once they unmasked. I'm like, this isn't even fun for me anymore. Yep. I can't possibly guess these people I don't know.
That's what we were saying too. Like, if it's going to keep going this way, we're going to quit watching it because I don't even know who the fuck you are.
Like, so, whatever, Sawyer.
The JoJo, we knew her because of Dance Moms.
Oh.
She was on Dance Moms. Yeah.
Oh.
She was on Dance Moms, and she's also, next time you're at the store, just take a glance at the Teeny Bot magazines.
Oh, she's probably all over them.
She's all over them, and she has her own.
Oh, really?
And she's got her own bow line, where she sells those big-ass bows she wears in her hair. She has reached a Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen level of dominating all forms of media.
Wow.
It's impressive.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder when she looks back like 10, 15 years from now at the outfits that she chose to wear, how that's going to make her feel.
Yep. Or all those bows.
Right.
She's going to hit that Disney star, I'm going to do Playboy face real soon.
Yeah.
I don't know why they all go that way. I would hope they have better people in their lives to tell them they don't have to do that.
Right. And I feel like it's like the other end of the spectrum. Like most of Prince's people that he protegeed or were in his band or whatever, once they left Prince and the revolution and all that stuff, they all went straight to church.
Yeah.
All immediately, like, all about Jesus.
Yeah.
It's like, what things did you see and or do or in the Purple Rain that you had to like immediately go, I need to repent. Like, I just get so that's what.
The other thing I highly recommend, and I posted it on Facebook, was we just got done watching Hollywood.
Yeah, I wanted to start that. I'm going to start that next. I just finished Dead to Me.
How was that?
It's so good. I love it so much. Christina Applegate, I love her so much, and just like her sarcasm. Oh,
every time I look at that, it makes me think of Endgame because of Linda Cardellini, and then I start thinking about Endgame, and I start thinking about who paid his wife's cell phone for the 5 years that they were gone. That she just called him when she got. Who was paying that bill? That's what Raven's question was. Who is paying that bill?
I mean, I don't know because
he kept calling and listening to her voicemail.
Right. But I guess he did. I guess he was.
I'm gonna just keep.
Right.
Or I'm gonna keep this family plan.
Direct about like it was. It was an automatic withdrawal every month, and you know how everybody knows how that goes. You just forget that it's happening. Audible, which is
every month when I get that email, it's like your new Audible credit. I'm like, God damn it! I forgot again.
All right, then. So let's get into this season 6, episode 6, all the way. Original air date October 30th, 2001, which is perfect because this is a Halloween theme episode written by Stephen S. DeKnight, directed by David Solomon. Dawn discovers her crush has a deadly secret. Dawn's in trouble. It must be Tuesday, which, yeah.
Right?
Yes. So, our guest stars, we got Amber as Tara. Kevin. Reese as
Kevin instead of Kevin. His name is Kevin.
Kattenbach. Amber as Janice and Dave Power as Zach. You know what? I was so surprised at how young Amber Tamlin was in this episode. Like,
yeah,
it didn't seem right because he feels so much older. Like I feel like she's like around our age, but damn, like she was a baby in this episode.
Yeah. And it's 2001. Was this before Sisterhood of the Traveling Pantaloons? I like this episode. I mean, I like all of the Halloween episodes.
It was just 4 years before Sisterhood. So
wow.
Sisterhood was like 2005.
Wow.
I wonder if she's still married to David Cross, which
I think they are. They've had some kids.
Whoa! Wow.
Mm-hmm. They've had some babies.
Good for them. So yeah, you like this episode?
I do.
Why?
I like several aspects of this episode. I like the burgeoning relationship between Spike and Buffy, like their growing chemistry. I like Buffy's total lack of respect for Giles to just be like, you disciplined Dawn. And it's a Halloween episode. I like all of the Halloween episodes.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's just not one of my favorites. I think I usually skip it just because there's such an excess of Dawn that like every time she's on the screen, I just want to shake her.
It is like, a lot of Dawn.
So many poor choices right now.
So many.
Like, and I understand this is like normal teenage rebellion crap, but damn it, girl. Like Slayer. Your sister is a Slayer. You've seen way more shit than your average teenager. You know better. Like everything's just what I'm like, you know better. You know better. So it's Halloween and Giles is having a sale at the Magic Box. Mostly everybody is in some sort of costume. Actually, no, it's just Anya, Xander, and Giles who are in a costume.
Yeah.
Which I find kind of disrespectful to the whole thing.
Yep.
Why? Like, Willow, you couldn't be bothered to put on a mask or something? Like, I don't understand. Like, some kitty ears, at least.
Anya's outfit's barely a costume. It's just some hot pants and a shirt.
Right, exactly. Like, I think the only thing that makes it a costume is her roller skates. Like, maybe. Which I also find it surprising that she knows how to do roller skates.
Right. So do I. Very well, also.
Yeah. Oh, and Dawn is still a klepto. So because didn't she already get caught by stealing?
No,
caught
not yet.
Stealing?
Not yet.
Wasn't there an episode that we just talked about that maybe, okay, I guess not. I guess I went ahead. I guess.
Yeah, it's a lot of times it ends up staying on, and I just because I like this season, so I get sucked in, and I just end up 4 or 5 episodes deep after the one we're supposed to talk about. And this is actually, I think, the kickoff of her kleptoness, of her thievery.
Okay.
I just noticed she had a Hello Kitty tank top on. That's gross.
A dazzled Hello Kitty tank top. That's
gross.
So they're going through all this stuff, and Dawn is just like, too good for it, and there's this, that, and the other. Buffy goes down to the basement to go find something, but she finds Spike. She finds Spike.
Who's stealing?
Speaking of kleptos, he's just like literally just thieving around in there for, what was it?
Berber weed.
Berber weed to make the blood hot and spicy.
Mm-hmm.
Can't just use some Franks?
Or some red hot pepper flakes? Like,
why does it have to be like this? And why do you have to steal it?
Right. Right. But they're so cute. Like, their chemistry is so cute in this scene. And they're so close to each other, and it's just so cute.
It is, but it's also, I'm kind of confused at how we got to, I mean, I guess the last episode was her out drinking with him.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
But still, it's just like, I don't know, it just seems a little, the way she reacts when she's like all flustered and he's like, you ready for some, you want to do some hot and
rough and tumble.
And she's like all
what?
From it. Like, it just doesn't seem like she should react like that. And like, I feel like we were missing a scene or something where he again talked about his love for her, or like more recently, or she realized that maybe she has some like weird feelings for him too. Like, she would totally, ride that pony,
right?
Circumstances. So it just a little bit much, but
And she even does say afterwards, so much easier to talk to when he wanted to kill me.
Right. Like, I don't know. It just seemed like it just seemed misplaced. Mm-hmm. But, he was like, you want to rough and tumble. I mean, you want to go patrolling? She's like, no, that's cool. And he's like, fine, I got plans anyway. The Great Pumpkin's on in 30.
I love it.
My dude.
I love it. Spike loves television. Like, he's quite the lover of TV. He loves Passions, The Great Pumpkin,
right.
Dawson's Creek.
I would really like it if somebody did something, like if there was like a fake Twitter account or something, and someone just like did TV reviews as Spike.
That'd be amazing. That would be amazing. Buffy's back behind the counter with Giles because Xander got really annoying and Giles kicked him out.
As Xander does.
What I like about this is there's a tiny bit of foreshadowing in this episode with Xander's pirate costume and his eye patch.
Oh, yeah.
There's a very unfortunate thing that happens to Xander, spoiler alert, in season 7 that has to do with an eye patch and Caleb. And I just remembered that really nasty thing he says about party in his eye socket and everybody's invited.
Oh, Xander.
Oh, Xander.
The perpetual line jumper.
Mm-hmm.
So
then we meet the old man.
He's just like walking down the street humming Pop Goes the Weasel, but not the third base 90s classic.
Nope, not the one we like. He somehow makes it even creepier than the actual Jack in the Box.
Right. And he turns it into, he like starts to make up his own little words. Like, it's like it's a song about Halloween.
Happy Halloween. And your first initial reaction is, ew, where are we going in this episode?
Right. He's like walking amongst all the trick-or-treaters and like leering at everybody, all the children that go by, and he goes into his little house and he's just all creepy and whatnot. So everything about him suggests that he's up to no good.
Mm-hmm. He gets out a big old giant knife, starts playing with it, and then remarkably, now we hit the credits. I feel like this is one of the biggest longest intros in the show.
It was a really long cold open.
Yeah. Like, I feel like we are like 10 minutes deep into the episode. 7 minutes. We're 7 minutes deep into the episode at this point.
So now we're back.
Like a long time.
We're back in the magic box, and they're all closed and everybody's pooped, but Anya is dancing her booty off and showing Dawn her not so sweet dance moves. Apparently,
the dance, the capitalist superiority.
Apparently, she does this every night when she closes out the register. And Xander's like looking at her and sighs, "I'm going to marry that girl." But the way he says it doesn't sound sweet and wistful or hopeful.
I'm also not entirely sure he was talking about Anya.
And neither is Buffy.
Right.
Buffy thinks thinking about Dawn, and she responds accordingly.
Mm-hmm. Which I don't think they touch enough on in the comic about how grossed out everyone should be that they actually get together and have a child.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that should make everybody much more uncomfortable than it does. It's weird. It's all very weird. And I would never, ever, ever, ever forgive a friend of mine for doing something like that. Like if you knew my kid's sister as a child and you were a full ass adult during this time period, like it's not excusable.
No, it's not okay. But Dawn's also not real. I mean, she's real, but she didn't start out as real. You know, he didn't really know her. He only knew her from when she was 14, I guess.
I guess it's all just a really extremely gray, icky area.
Gray, icky area.
So Xander chooses time to go ahead and announce that they're going to get married. Him and Anya's.
Mm-hmm. And they have a really gross, deep kiss that clues us in on a little fact that Giles has been keeping from everyone.
This is my burn. I think this is the best one that I could see. And while they all awkward, like after they congratulate Xander and Anya, and after and they start to make out there, and everyone's awkwardly staring at them, and Buffy's like, "What? They're engaged? Did you know about this?" And Giles like, "No, unless I blocked it from my memory, much as I will Xander's vigorous use of his tongue." And then he takes off his glasses and starts to clean them furiously.
Yep.
Buffy's like, "Is that why you clean your glasses?"
He just tell no one.
You don't have to see what we're doing.
I love it. And if you think back to the years of them in high school, he is cleaning his glasses a lot. Right,
exactly. Mostly like the inappropriate times.
So they decided to throw the gang a little get-together, little engagement party back at Buffy's house.
Which, I mean, it doesn't, like, it's sweet that they want to do it, but I don't think we needed to do it, like, right away. You're not going to plan it.
Like, right? It didn't need to be, like, right away. We're already tired. Like,
right.
I'm about to go to bed.
Right? I mean, we get together this weekend? Like,
And Tara's like, yeah, we'll have a better party, and we'll even have time to decorate. And Willow's like, why wait? And she uses a spell, and suddenly there's decorations.
Now Tara seems a little miffed by this. Later on, they're in the kitchen, and Tara's like, the store's still open. We could have gone and bought decorations. And Willow's very blasé. And then this becomes a spat.
Yep.
And Tara's like, basically you're overusing magic for shit that we can't, that you could just do regularly. And there's just this whole like back and forth, and it's typical. Like Willow is just like basically doesn't see what's wrong. She's defending herself, and is like, well, we could fight monsters with it just regular too, but I wouldn't recommend it with sticks and stones or some shit. And it's like that's not, damn well that's not what I meant.
Right, that's not the same. I'm talking about you magically flushing the toilet when you could have just pressed the button.
Exactly.
And Giles looked at Tara too, so there's like this unspoken, like worried look between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, Dawn walks in while Willow and Tara are having their little spat in the kitchen, which is going to become very important,
right,
in the next episode.
And Dawn's like, sorry, and Willow's just like, nah, that's cool, we're done, and walks out like, bitch,
right.
No.
No, we're not. I'm pretty sure I got more to say. But, all right.
So it's becoming like this pattern where Willow just dismisses Tara and her concerns and worries and thoughts. And so when things start to go south, I have very little sympathy for Willow, like later on, because she just starts to be like really nasty towards Tara, and it gets a little bit worse in this episode.
Yes, it does. Very disrespectful, actually.
Right.
So Dawn is like congratulating everyone again, and she's saying, you know, Anya's very lucky to have found a guy like Xander. And he's like, not as lucky as me. He's so stupid. So like, ugh. And then she's like, all right, peace out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And Buffy's like, whoa. Tomorrow?
What's that?
What do you mean tomorrow? And she's like, remember I told you I was going to go sleep at Janice's tonight? You know, you said I could. Buffy is like either not paying attention to Dawn at all, because she appears to have no recollection of ever having this conversation.
None whatsoever.
Now, I think it's more a teenage ploy. You know, remember when you said I could do this thing?
Right.
That we never actually talked about.
Right. You said it was okay. Don't back out now. Right. Otherwise, be a liar.
And she does it in front of everybody.
Right.
And Buffy's just like, oh, I don't know.
Looking around to everybody, too, kind of for a lifeline. And
right.
I don't know.
She even says, Giles, what do you think? And he's like, I think you should figure your shit out on your own. That's what I think.
Right. Not my place.
She's not my child.
Right. So Buffy agrees.
Although, wouldn't that have been a better?
Oh, so much better.
If she was like the ghost child of Giles and Joyce.
Right. If they had put some of Giles' stuff in there, like that would have been amazing. That would have made her work.
Love that.
So Buffy lets her go, and she's like, you know, it's just 4 blocks away. I'm just gonna go right over there. So she goes, and surprise, it's teenage hijinks. She goes and meets Janice like in the middle of the fucking woods or something. I don't know, on the street somewhere. And apparently it's the age-old, and I really hope this trick doesn't still get pulled. I mean, it made sense in the 50s to the 80s maybe, but now it's like, oh, I told my mom I'll be staying at your house, and you told your mom you're staying at my house, and nobody checked.
Right.
Nobody picked up the phone to see if they were little liars, which it seems like she would have done, because she was really hesitant to let her go anyway.
Well, there's a weird thing where when they meet up with the guys in the park, apparently Janice has been dating Zach because, she's like, oh, hey, baby, how are you? Gross. Blah. And they introduce Justin to Dawn, and she's like, oh, yeah, I've seen you at a couple parties. What parties?
Right. That's what I was thinking.
A party.
When have you been to parties, Dawn? What parties? And also, like, are these dudes newly turned vampires?
Right.
And how long has Janice been dating old dude? Do they actually go to their school, or do they just hang around the school, like
wearing a Letterman jacket?
Right, exactly. Because like if you're in, I have so many questions.
Like if he, especially Justin, Zach, I could maybe see just being a weird hanging around at night, and her only seeing him at night.
Right.
But you're wearing a Letterman jacket.
Right. A Sunnydale Letterman
jacket, which Dawn just has a thing for.
That's her type.
That is her type. And she, I mean, if he's an athlete, then he would be missed. Like there should be signs of him missing if he was
Right. And if he was still like poking around at parties and stuff and nobody is missing him, are you still staying with your parents?
Right.
Because your parents would most definitely still be missing you. Or did you kill your parents?
Like, or did you eat your parents? So many questions.
So much. There's so much. So any hoozles, the little tiny baby teenage sparks fly. And it's ridiculous because, and I'm sure at some point most of us at this age are guilty of having done this, but they just follow the boys around as they vandalize random properties and stuff, and just like, oh, just hanging out, and it's just so the guys are just like egging houses and shit and deflating air in car tires,
throwing eggs at posters of witches, and Dawn goes off on some weird tirade about how witches can be pretty.
Do you speak to people?
Have you been to a party? Because you said you have. But you don't act like you've been around other people.
Right, in social situation. I mean,
Right.
witches don't really look like that. What?
Okay. You know a lot of witches, do you? What? No. No. I'm just saying. Some people might say. And we keep cutting back and forth between like the engagement party and the hijinks with Dawn. I like all of the non-Dawn stuff. All of the Dawn stuff is kind of sick and gross in this episode. I hate it all. But back at the engagement party, Giles is telling Xander, you know, he's a wonderful ex-demon. I'm sure you'll have many years of non-hell bliss together. And then he asks Xander a very crucial question. Is she moving in with you? And Xander's like, huh?
Xander starts to have heart palpitations.
Already.
Right? Dude, you've been...
like a half an hour.
The thought of her moving in with, like, you asked her to marry you, but her moving in with you, that seems to be too much.
Mm-hmm.
That's just too
He didn't
much.
think this through.
No, not at
all.
Did Giles mention something about children? Or no, that's later, like Anya says on the list of getting a house and children and a dog and a car. And
he starts shitting himself. So then we go back to the stupid children, and they've arrived at Kaltenbach's house. And that's going to be their last prank for the evening, because Janice has said, are we done with this dumb shit? Like, can we please do something else?
And I'm like, thank you, Janice.
Right?
I appreciate it.
So they're like, yeah.
Apparently, you know, this is, I guess, every neighborhood, or at least every neighborhood on television with teenagers, has an old weird guy in the neighborhood that everyone's got a weird, like, backstory for him. It's like, oh, it's old Krakenbond and blah, blah, blah. And so they say they're going to go smash his jack-o'-lanterns, which is just fucking rude.
It is rude.
It's so rude. And then they dare Janice to do it. She's like, fuck no. And Dawn's dumbass is like, I'll do it.
Okay, idiot. So
Dawn.
she does. She goes up there and snatches up his pumpkin, and she's like, ha, look at me being bad. And he comes up and snatches her dumbass up.
Exactly. And I'm like, that's what you get. Take her. She's yours.
Yep. And so the guys run over there, and Zach is so lame. Like, these are the lamest vampires I've ever seen.
So
He's like, don't make me go kung fu on you, man.
And not to mention just like Justin with his fucking light ass talking. Like he talks like a whisper.
So annoying.
Don't touch her. Leave her alone.
And Kaltenbach is just like, oh, that's okay. I'm not. Come on in. No.
No.
I sure won't.
Spots. But these four, two of them being idiots, the other two being vampires, they're like, yes, let's go in, please.
Well, Janice is like, we are so not going in there. Janice is the voice of reason in all of this. Right. She's the one that is not happy about being there. And then Kaltenbach takes it one step further. He's like, Daddy's got a treat for you. Ooh. No, you don't.
Sir, I wish you would not refer to yourself as my daddy.
Right?
I don't like it.
That's where the cricket sound comes in.
Yep. I'm just gonna go home now. I've made a terrible mistake.
Yep, my life choices have been bad.
So bad.
So then he takes them in the house because they go in for some reason, and he proceeds to tell them that he worked in toys, and he made the toys until the incident.
We never find out what the incident was.
We sure don't.
And he's like,
I'm so curious.
Right? I mean, at that moment, it's like, excuse me, sir. What is it?
Now, see, if this kind of shows the show's age at the same time, because if the show was set now, as soon as he said that, he took the other one in the kitchen, everybody on that couch would have been on their phone Googling Kaltenbach and the incident.
Right, exactly.
And that's all you would have had to do is look it up.
Right.
And you'd have been like, we need to go. He ate a kid. Like, we need to go.
So he's got all these toys around, and he's like, "Oh, it was so great to make toys," and has nothing like watching a kid's look on a kid's face when they open up your toys at Christmas. And I'm questioning, like, why? How do you know exactly?
Is that the incident?
Just like hanging out in people's houses on Christmas morning, just
outside
like kind
their
of
window, just kind of peeking at them.
I just want to see the children open their gifts.
No.
So why he needs help in the kitchen? Oh, he's like, does Sally want to help me in the kitchen or something?
Yeah. And Justin's just like, Sally's not much for the cooking. Hey, you don't even know me. I mean, thank you for taking that. Like, I don't want to go in the kitchen with this old man, but
you still you don't know me.
So Justin goes in the kitchen with him, and turns out Cottonmouth just made some adorable Rice Krispies, and he was going to cut them up for the gang to eat.
Right, these is like the really festive Rice Krispie treats,
little pumpkins and grass tufts.
Instead, Justin eats him. And there's a whole thing. There's a whole like ruckus in the kitchen. He comes running out and he's like, "Let's go! I snatched his wallet."
And is that the first reveal that they're?
I think so. Yeah.
Vampires.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be like, oh, that makes sense.
Right, because there's all that little like we got little like breadcrumbs, sort of, kind of, when they're like Justin and Zach are talking, like, oh, is she going to be the one you're going to go? Are you going to go all the way with her? And obviously, we just think that he means boner, but no, thinking about turning her. Like, is she going to be a tasty treat or eternal flame? I don't know.
Which this is just not how vampires work. You guys are so lame.
I'm just gonna go with the fact that they've only been vampires for like a year, maybe. So.
So back at the engagement party, Xander is losing his shit. He's not comfortable at all. He's starting to freak out. And Buffy decides that she's going to take him outside. But before that, there is another little burn in here that I love that I forgot to write down. And it's when they're talking about having kids. And Giles says, Rupert's a very strong name. And Anya responds with, yeah, if we want our progeny to eat paste and have their lunch money stolen. That's right. Fantastic. And he's just like, hey. And he kind of puts his head down and looks off to the side like, I ate paste and I had my lunch money stolen, but it's okay. Look at me now.
I'm so much better now.
I'm fine.
I'm respectable. Whatever, Anya. Whatever, Anyanka.
Right? So then they just keep talking about like the future and all this stuff, and you can see Xander's heart race, like his chest is starting to heave. And Buffy takes him outside, and he actually says, "Sweet mother oxygen."
Oh my god! Like, dude.
You really shouldn't be getting married. No,
like that should have been it right there. For like Buffy should be like, you know what, you don't do this because you are not ready. Clearly, you're going to fuck over this woman.
And Raven, if you guys remember, Raven's my sister. We were talking about this episode earlier this morning, and she was mentioning how much Xander has never really gotten over Buffy, and that's a lot of the problem that he has. Like, you know. And in the musical, Anya makes a mention of it. And we talk, and in the wedding episode, there is a big deal about him and his feelings for Buffy.
Right.
And I think he is starting to panic because and even in the comic, like, did he get with Dawn just because he couldn't have Buffy?
Probably. He's just not ready. He's not willing to admit it fully to himself that he still holds that torch for her. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, it's very, very apparent in just about every way that he responds to her, especially with the whole like Spike thing. Mm-hmm. And it's much more than just she's my best friend and I care for her. It's like you still want to hit that, Xander. Let's just
There's an episode later in the season that really shows that. And it's if I were Anya, I'd be super offended.
Yeah. Absolutely. Anya should have called it off a long time ago, called off the engagement, just gone about her. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why Anya would allow herself to be pulled through this with Xander. Like, she spent thousands of years as a vengeance demon, and she saw all sorts of hearts broken.
Yep.
And
in these very situations.
Right. And all these women that were taken advantage of and just disregarded by men. And she still, like, she didn't catch any sign. There was nothing. There were no warning signs for her. And she just...
I find it hard to believe.
Right.
So there's one thing we forgot to talk about earlier, and it's that Buffy mentions to Giles back at the beginning of the episode that maybe she should go patrolling. And Giles is like, come on, of every night, this is the one night you get off. And Buffy's like, really? What about costumes taking over your personality? Or weird, tiny little Irish fear diminy things? What about that? And he says, well, I guess history will show that if anything calamitous should happen, it'll happen to one of us.
Right. Which is a great point, and it's the truth.
It's the truth. So after rescuing Xander from the engagement party for a minute and getting some air with him, Buffy decides that it's also a bit stuffy in there for her and she needs to get out. She's ready. She's hit her peak of people for the day. So she says she's going to go hit up Spike and go patrolling. And she takes off.
Yep.
And very shortly after that, we get a really gross scene with Dawn and Justin and how she's cold and he gives her jacket. We don't care.
Ew.
More importantly, back at the house, Janice's mom, for whatever reason, has called Giles.
Finally.
And she's like, where's Janice? I want to talk to her. And he's like, what? Huh? Dawn said she was staying there. Then Janice's mom pulls some shit and starts yelling at him, I guess, because from what we see, he's like, well, you didn't know either.
Right, exactly.
Like,
first of all, I'm not even supposed to be here. I don't live here.
Right.
Dawn's not my child. So don't raise your voice at me. Like, I'm not the one you want to talk to.
Let me get Buffy.
Right.
Oh, wait, she ain't home. I'll have her call you back.
Right. I'll leave her a message. I don't like your tone, ma'am.
Right? So then it's time to rally the troops and find her because it's Tuesday. Dawn must be in trouble.
So I think the whole thing is that Anya and Xander are supposed to stay there. Willow and Tara are supposed to check downtown, and Giles is going to go find Buffy to go get her or whatever.
How about Anya stays there because it only takes one person to answer a phone.
Right.
Xander's a grown man who can go out on his own.
And
Anya's a grown woman. She could probably go out on her own too, but the both of them don't need to stay there.
Yeah. Nope.
We need as many people out looking for Dawn.
Exactly.
And out of curiosity, whatever happened to the pager Buffy had in season 1?
Never to be seen again.
Yeah. And never again. Because we could have just beeped her.
Right. There have been so many opportunities where that beeper would have come in handy. And right now, I think this is 2001. So cell phones were just now starting to become everybody's thing.
And Blackberries.
Right. So if anybody should have had some sort of device right.
Get her a long-range walkie-talkie. I don't care.
Right. There's been just so many opportunities. There's the Slayer starter kit should come with a beeper. It's just finally, I think is Dawn and old boy making out in the Dawn's parking, and she experiences their first kiss. Super icky.
And she even says, my tongue was all weird. Yes, it was. It was. I'm sorry. I hope you didn't have to film that more than once because it looked like he was eating your face. It looked gross.
I know. And I hope that wasn't Michelle Trachtenbaum's first kiss.
Gross.
Probably because she's 15?
Yeah, I think she was 15.
That's got to be so. I mean, I guess depending on who it's with and how it goes, it could be. I just feel like it's got to be terrible because you got like 100 people staring at you.
Unless you're Kirsten Dunst and your first kiss is Brad Pitt.
Bitch.
Right? And she didn't like it. Like, she complained about it. Well, but if you watch that movie, she like a grown woman grabbed his face. And
right. Like, she was not a 10-year-old in that movie. Like, for real. Like, so Don's like making out with old dude, and he's being like, I don't know. I guess he's supposed to be super sweet and understanding right now and all that stuff, but I just find him ridiculous. And
when they're walking around and she's talking, or they're sitting in the car and she's again talking about how cold she is. This is Southern California, people. It can't be that cold. Like, I understand it gets a little chilly, maybe a bit nippy in Southern California at night. But when I think cold, like, she's shivering cold.
She's probably just, there's a lot of anticipation. Like, these are nerves. It's not, she's not cold. She's just like, ooh, like, everything is just all like shivery and bottled up in her head. And it says shiver me timbers.
That's so cute. But she says something about like, yeah, it's cold. And, aren't you cold too? And he's like, the cold never bothered me. And I was like, okay, Elsa. And then they go on to talk about, he says, he says he just wants to taste her.
Inappropriate at this age.
Inappropriate.
That's not okay. That's a red flag. Mm-hmm. That's not like, I would like cause for concern, like for a grown man to say it to me. And it's like, I guess that's kind of no, I don't like the way you phrased it. Phrasing, that's just not.
And plus, you're in a car. Turn the heater on.
Right.
Turn the heater on. But then, for whatever reason, I guess because she figured in high school this is where I would have gone, Willow takes Tara to the Bronze to look for Dawn.
I mean, sure. I guess that kind of makes.
But Dawn's not allowed out of the house. Like, they went to the Bronze every night when they were in high school, but they don't let Dawn go out.
Sure.
So she's not going to the Bronze, and she's not going to parties. I don't care what she says.
She's a liar.
She's a liar.
At this point, yeah, I don't think Dawn has ever stepped foot in the Bronze or would have had a reason or been able to, because by now, yes, the Bronze grew up to fit them as they grew up, because it started off as a coffee house. Everybody, every age was welcome, but by now it's a full-blown bar and nightclub. Yeah. So Dawn wouldn't have been able to have gotten in there.
No, and I think for Tara's birthday, it was like they carded her and she had like a big old X across her arm. It
was like a special occasion kind of thing.
Yeah. So
and that was her time there, because she was like, oh, this place is cool or something.
So cool. Right. So what makes you think she would just go there? So Willow gets the idea, there's a lot of people in there, and she goes up to the balcony and she says to Tara, what if we just shift everybody that's not a 15-year-old girl to an alternate dimension?
Tara's like, what if we don't?
Yeah. How about no? No?
That's not the best thing. How about you just go do a locator spell for Dawn?
Right?
I mean, you know how to do this. We've done it before. Why is this so difficult? Like, why do you want to keep the ante? You got to shift fuckers to different dimensions.
So then they start getting into it a little bit, and I learned from the Buffy wiki that when they're talking about, Tara starts talking about how Willow is abusing magic again, and she didn't meet that. That is too far. That's just too far.
Right.
And Willow mutes the crowd by saying sakat, which is Arabic for silence.
Ooh.
I did not know that.
No.
And so they argue a little more, and Willow takes things a bit too far.
Too far.
Tara makes the statement, you're taking things too far, and what do you want me to do? Just keep my mouth shut? Sit back and keep my mouth shut.
Right. And Willow's like, that would be good for starters or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
And I probably would have pushed her over the balcony.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Fuck you.
Right.
Fuck you and your abuse of magic. I'm out. I would have packed my shit that night. There's no way. You got a lot of nerve.
Right? But instead, Tara's like, you know what? If I didn't love you so damn much, I would. And then she says Takala, which is Arabic for talk.
Oh.
And it unmutes the crowd.
Interesting.
Very interesting. And Willow immediately is just like, ooh, I fucked up.
And that's like the second time where it's like a different Willow comes out, like, and just says something real nasty, and then she snaps out of it. And it's like, oh, my bad. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, Tara. No, Tara. And Tara's just like, middle finger up right while she's walking away. Like, nope.
Buffy has gone to Spike. She is Buffy was like walking on the street, and then she just sees an ambulance go by, and then that's a cause for concern. Which what? So she follows it.
Why? I don't understand.
Don't see normal ambulances going by, like people with heart attacks and things, just like kids, broken arms. Like not all of the ambulance trucks are going to have vampire victims, but this one did. So she sees that this woman was bitten in the neck. She goes off to find Spike. She goes to his crypt and, just fucking, again, like doesn't knock. She just barges right in. And this really bothers me. Like, I know he's a creature of the night. And
it's still his home.
Right?
He even says that's called trespassing.
Right?
And what was he watching? He's watching like some old monster movie.
Like, I couldn't tell. Like, was the person like eating something?
I don't know.
Because I was half expecting to see, I guess they couldn't get the rights, but I was half expecting to see the Great Pumpkin.
That would have been so cute. So Giles is wandering around the cemetery all by himself, and I love that he's like, cemetery, Halloween. Yeah, this is going to end well. And then I think he immediately trips over something.
Yes. I love him so.
Bloody brilliant.
And he sees this a girl being bitten, getting attacked, and he immediately thinks it's Dawn. He's like, oh my God, Dawn. And he's like, snatches the dude off, but it's Janice. Mm-hmm. She's like, fucker bit me.
She's so mad. She does kind of look like Dawn with her head down.
Yeah.
And I don't like that Zach is like, because she is like, fucker bit me. And he's like you weren't asking for it.
Right?
I'm pretty sure I wasn't.
And Giles says, I'm fairly certain she wasn't.
But then Giles has some good fighting here.
Dude, this is like the best fighting I've seen Giles do. Like, isn't there like a full-on like drop kick that he does or something?
They rolled down the hill together and he drop kicks him into a tree.
Right. It's like, damn, Giles, you've been working out. You doing some fight training over in London? Like, what's going on?
And of course he's like, okay, I've taken care of yours, but where is Dawn?
Right.
And Dawn has just discovered that Justin is a vampire while they were making out.
Right.
He popped the vampire boner.
And she's off.
What's really irritating to me is that he's just like, come on, I like you though.
Right. Don't you want to be like eternal vamps together? Don't you want to be you're special. There's something different about you. Blah, 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 blah. And I think, does Giles find her?
Yeah, he's like, I bet you say that to all the girls.
Right.
Comes out strolling like a demon hunter, like Ripper walking out there like, I'm going to handle this one too.
Get it, Giles.
But what he didn't realize was she was parking in a vampire hotspot, apparently.
Yeah. Apparently, this is their hunting ground because there were like 10 cars full of vamps just out there.
10 cars full of vamps and one poor couple that like, parked in the wrong spot.
I get some. Yeah, I was just trying to get some tonight. That's all.
And Giles is like, okay, I guess we're gonna have to do this.
He's like, fuck. He seems to be. I'm outnumbered, but then Spike shows up. Nope. I got you, boy.
Private game, or can anybody play? And he's got Buffy in tow. I don't know how they just stumbled upon this location either, but whatever. It's convenient.
Right.
And Buffy is so pissed.
She dawns on her what's happening.
You were parking with a vamp? I didn't know he was dead. Oh.
It's like, I just met him. She's like, you were parking with a boy you just met?
then I do have there's like it's not really a burn, but
it's more like a bloop.
Yeah. And Dawn is like, oh, like you've never fallen for a vampire. And Buffy says, that was different. And she says, it always is when it's you.
Ooh.
And that's pretty much how every sibling feels.
Right, exactly. Yep.
And so Buffy's like, did anybody come here to just make out? And this one couple raises their hands. And she's like, oh, that's sweet. You run. You scream. And we get a nice big fight.
Yep. Big old fight. All of the vamps thinking that they can take him on. And I'm really like, for whatever reason, I'm kind of disturbed mostly by the one vamp with like red curly hair. She's got like that weird V-neck sweater. Mm-hmm. She just seems misplaced to me. So everybody fights, blah, blah, blah. Dawn, for whatever reason, she goes out in the opposite direction of where her sister and Giles and Spike, her protectors, are. And she's like wandering off. Yeah. She's wandering off in the woods somewhere. And Justin thinks it's a game. He's like, ooh, and he catches her, tumbles her, and he's like, trick or treat, give me something sweet to eat. And still talking his talk, you know, blah, 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 blah. And Dawn's feelings are hurt because she thought he really liked her.
Oh.
That's what you're concerned with right now? This vampire is on top of you and he's about to eat you. But she stakes him with, I don't know, a chopstick or something. And Dustin, she looks like she's about to burst into tears, and I'm more annoyed with her more than
right? Because she's so upset. But I guess if you look at it like you're a 14-year-old girl, the first dude you kiss, like imagine the first dude you kissed when you were 14 if you had to kill him. Like, not just like break up and never talk to him. And I think that's something that they don't really, somebody should have sat down and talked to her about the fact that she just killed someone.
Right.
Right. Like, I think this might be the first vampire I can't remember, but
I think so, because usually it's anytime there's any sort of danger, it's like, Dawn, look away. Dawn, go over here. Dawn, hide back here. So I don't think she's ever really has gotten a chance to fight or defend herself.
Right. Physically. And it's a crossbow piece that she stabs him with.
That's what it is. Okay.
I don't know where she got it or if she was just holding on to it while she was running away.
Yeah.
But they should talk to her about the fact that she just killed her first crush.
Right.
But no, we get home and we yell at her for what she did.
I didn't even think it even happened yet. Like, she's in the dining room and Giles is like icing his jaw. And he's like telling Buffy's like, you need to sit down with her and, you know, tell her this kind of shit can't go down anymore. Or just like, she needs to know that there's repercussions and blah, blah, blah. Basically, Giles is in bed. I'm so glad you're all behind that. Take care of it. Let me know how it turns out. Peace.
Mm-hmm. No. And there is some major shade. Like, everybody goes home. You know, Buffy, Spike is like, I'm gonna go home. Something about Big Bad's not venturing far from their crypts on Halloween.
Right.
Xander and Anya are like, we're out. We're done.
Right.
And Tara and Willow are. Tara is just like.
Right? She's like
throwing some shade at Willow. Oh. A normal friend would be like, are you two?
Right. Because she makes very clear. She like stomps her, like Buffy's like, thanks guys, whatever. And then Tara stomps across the room past Willow. She's like, I'm just glad Dawn's okay. And she like turns around and just like stares Willow down. Yes, a friend would have been like, you guys somebody want to call me later?
Right.
And let me
right.
What's going on?
You guys need to talk. You want to sleep in my room tonight?
Which for that split second, I forgot that they lived there.
Right? Like, why are you still here? So Giles immediately puts on his dad hat and he goes in, and Dawn is like, is this the part where you tell me you're not angry, you're just disappointed? And he should have just been like, yep. Yeah, bitch. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, because
no, I don't want to do this. This is not my job. That's what he should have said.
He's the parental proxy is who Giles is, really. And he's just like, yeah, it's guilt. It's just like, oh, I want to succeed in life, but you know it's basically his song.
It is
that he sings in the episode, and it's like, you know, he wants to still wants to protect her, still wants to make sure she makes good choices and has everything she needs to be successful. It's just that he's doing everything to make sure she's successful in life, except for letting her be successful. And I think this is just like a very overly dramatic, you know, this is like the normal 19 to 25-year-old trying to make it out in their world with a parent who's still doing for them. This is just set in the world of magic and vampires and stuff. And so, you know, it's just all the same kind of thing where you want to be treated like an adult, but yet what if mom and dad stop paying my bills?
Right.
So it's just this weird thing.
Yeah. We end very the way this episode ends is part of the reason that I find it so good. And it ends with Willow and Tara, who, I don't know why Tara just didn't sleep in a different room, but Willow's trying to apologize and Tara's basically saying it's not that easy. Like, can we just go to sleep? I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Right.
Well, you should sleep in a different room then. Yeah. But I'm just saying.
Like, because I'm not trying to cuddle with you. I don't want to, like, and I'm not trying to be all stiff and miserable trying not to touch
all
you
night long. Like, this is, you're drawing a line down the center of the mattress. Right. Like, don't cross it. Don't let a toe come over this line. But then Willow, to me, turns into a villain right here.
Yep, absolutely.
Because she then proceeds to cast a spell to make Tara forget the fight that they had. And as soon as she climbs into bed, Tara's all like, ooh, your feet are cold. Ooh, let me snuggle with you.
So messed up.
So messed up. Especially when, and Tara will make this point later, you know what Glory did to her.
Right. Right.
And you're going to fuck with her memory?
Yep. That's just...
They do eventually, as we all know, get back together again, but I don't see how.
Yeah. There's no way I would have been able to forgive her for all that.
Because she did it not once.
Twice.
But twice.
The disrespect, the violation, the just disregard. Mm-hmm. There's just so many advantage of Tara and took her for granted. And like towards the end there and fucked up, but I don't know how Tara was ever able to forgive her and move on.
I don't either. And then that's it. That's the end of our episode.
Yippers.
So there was a song this week.
Yes. They were standing around. There's a makeshift party.
Yes.
They were listening to Everybody Got Their Something by Nikki Costa, which was like basically a song for commercials during that time.
It really was. It got oddly popular, and I liked it.
I mean, it wasn't bad, but it's like I feel like I mostly heard it on commercials.
Yeah. But it seemed to me that this is the start of when they actually started playing popular music on Buffy as well.
They started to get a little bigger budget.
Yeah.
The musical department. And like it's Tara, or no, it's Willow, Xander, and Anya are just terribly dancing to the song. And I'm just, it pulls me out of the whole entire episode for those 30s that was happening. I'm like, what are they doing right now?
Which they do it again at the Bronze.
Yeah.
I think when Buffy gets a job, so a little further in the season. Because remember, he pulled his funky dance monkey.
Yeah, that's right.
Ugh. We had quite a few bodies drop this week. Yeah. Kaltenbach got drained by Justin. A bunch of vampires that, for some reason, the Buffy wiki actually knows their names.
Strange.
Zach, who we knew. Christy, Maria, and Glenn.
Okay.
We're all dusted by Giles, which, good on you. You got 4 this week, Giles. Yeah. Buffy only had 1.
Like, what were you doing?
Right.
Because I swear there were at least like 10 vampires there.
Right. How did she only get 1?
Right.
Carl was dusted by Spike with a crossbow. Another one that Spike killed, so he got 2. And I guess Buffy did get 1. She decapitated it with a car door.
Right.
And then Justin was dusted by Dawn.
This one does pass the Bechdel test mostly because of Willow and Tara's fight.
Mm-hmm. By the skin of its teeth again.
Yep.
So the random trivia this week is, we already talked about the Arabic in the spell, but this is the third Halloween episode in the show's 6 seasons. The first one was Halloween, where Spike tried to take advantage of the chaos of Ethan Rayne's spell. And then in season 4, we had the college episode with the frat party and don't put symbols you find in a book on the floor. Like, just why? You live in Sunnydale. You know the rumors.
Right, exactly.
And so I really like their Halloween episode. I wish they had one a year.
Yeah, like I don't understand why they didn't. Because they are. I mean, the first 2, I really did like those Halloween episodes very much. This one is okay. It's fine. But yeah, I wish they would have had a Halloween episode every year.
And then the moral of the story, if your child tells you they're sleeping over at a friend's, before you say yes, call that person's mother and find out. It literally takes seconds.
Right. Literally, don't trust your teenagers.
No. And not a text. Not a text.
Nope.
A call.
A full-on call. I want to speak to an adult. So let us know what you thought of All the Way. You can send us an MP3 file, less than 2 minutes, and email it to revisitingsunnydale@gmail.com. We may play it on the air, or you can just talk to us on Facebook under the Revisiting Sunnydale Facebook page, or find us on Twitter at Back to Sunnydale. Next week, it's the musical. It's what we've all been waiting for. Once More with Feeling.
I love this episode so much.
Very exciting. Very exciting. All right, cool. So more to come on that. And you can follow me, Camila, on Twitter at @the_Rugged Angel.
Or me, Marcel, at Msphere7338.
All right, friends. Until next time, stay sane and healthy and safe and entertained.